Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bobby. My name is Christina Bloom, and I am your co-host, along with the beautiful Bobby Clubino. And yeah, we are here just to chat again. Got some ideas, but no real direction. So, how you doing, Bobby?
No, it's oh my God, I'm so grateful for the sun today. It's
Yes.
the weather. Yesterday was a little kind of weird, being cold and all. And wow, I it's it's kind of annoying that when you dress one way and you go someplace and the weather turns on you and you're not prepared for all of that. And there
Right.
you sit with things uh not feeling very well. So, but other than that, I had a great Mother's Day. It was
Good.
very nice. The week is going well. So far, so good.
Hmm.
And I'm just grateful that the weather is nice. And I'm going to be planting my garden pretty soon, like quickly. And I have all these cool seedlings outside that I grew from seed, and they're ready to go in the ground. So
Awesome.
my
Awesome. I'm a little
tomatoes are,
curious about gardens this year. Not because, well, I'm not going to have one. There's no way my schedule will or land will allow for that. But um, with all of this crazy energy, right? The two eclipses, the solar flares that are off the charts. We haven't had solar flares like this in I don't know what it was that I read on space weather. It was like
oh,
20 years or something.
yeah, it was a long
Yeah,
time.
like it's been huge flares, which is why we've had such beautiful northern lights all over the world. Um,
Yeah.
my friend Glenn, who we've had on the show, was saying that they had them in England and he slept through it. And now he's mad at himself, but that's life.
I understand that. I
Yeah.
too went to bed and there was such a big storm before that and I was just not prepared and I couldn't wait up anymore. And I know we talked about the FOMO with the solar eclipse and now you know, the the northern lights, and I have seen them before, but when they're this close like that, it's just so annoying.
Right.
I couldn't stay up and watch them. But you did. You saw some really great stuff, didn't you?
I was up on Lake Superior. I was in Ashland over the weekend when we had those. And the thing is, like, I'm standing there on the shores of Lake Superior, as far north as you can go in the state of Wisconsin. I saw nothing until I took pictures. It showed up in my camera, but not to the naked eye. And so I took a lot of pictures with my camera, and I don't know, I was somehow inspired to just look straight up with my phone and take a picture right above me. And there were just these huge colors of northern lights in the picture. And as you know, for the last 6 weeks, I had been coughing up a lung and dealing with some health issues. I woke up the next morning, fine, no more coughing. Like just
That's
it was like just standing under the lights and the radiation, or I guess it is natural radiation from the solar flares and whatever. I woke up
wow.
feeling great
I
after
think
only
you're
2 hours of sleep because I was so jazzed from standing under the lights that I was like, yeah,
oh my.
it was like vibrating. I couldn't even sleep.
Well, the last time I felt that, you and I were channeling something, and you were channeling, and I was holding your hand, and I was up, for another 4 hours after that, and it was, I
Yes,
think we went to bed at midnight. So I understand all that energy stuff, but do you think that I wonder if there's some research studies
I
about
wonder.
that, about how that affects you? And
And
well,
health.
I know. I mean, the solar
Yeah.
flares and all of that. When things get messy like that in the sky or organized, whatever you want to say about that,
Hmm.
my my head gets a little dizzy. I'm not thinking straight. And I too, by the way, was really congested for the last week and going, am I getting sick? I don't understand this. What's going on?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you were saying that you were taking a picture of, doing this. Do you think that
Yes.
doing that, do you think that holding your head back up like that kind of drained your sinus? I'm looking for a scientific version
I
here of,
know you are, and there actually might be a scientific reason why that level of energy would be healing. Do you see what I'm saying? But
oh,
no, I
yeah.
mean, I've tipped my head back a lot of different times because I'm starting on this. sort of pseudo yoga thing that I do in my own head, with stretching. But a lot of that does involve, like stretching up and back and
Yeah.
looking up, and I'm always looking up at the sky, because I'm looking for my friends. But um, it's
By that you mean the spaceships, right? Not the angels
yes,
or
yeah,
what?
yes, the ETs, which I think technically would also explain angels, but that's another topic for another day. Um,
Wow, it's a crazy topic. We should probably explore
it
that.
could be, that could be, we don't know. We don't
You
know.
don't.
We don't
Exactly.
know. Yeah. But this energy is like, Glenn and I were talking yesterday about how people are so just um crabby,
Yeah, you're
angry,
right. Short.
just really unaware of other people,
Yeah.
and I spend a lot of time driving. I put on a lot of miles. And people even out on the road just don't even seem to be aware that there's other traffic out there. It's like everyone is in their own little bubble and nobody's paying attention to the fact that, you just cut off a semi at 70 miles an hour. That wasn't smart,
Yeah.
you know. And
There's
I saw it repeatedly.
yeah, I agree. I was really equating it to the fact that a lot of the younger drivers at this point that are on the road may very well have gone through their hypothetical driver's education when we were in COVID and didn't have to do anything other than read the book. And so consequently, that's just my take on it. I'm I could be full of shit, and a lot of times I am. So the fact that they haven't gotten proper education and experience, they just drive however the hell they want to drive. And I too, by the way, I was on the expressway the other day and a car came past, and I was doing almost 70, and
Hmm.
a little car came past me, very close to me. And I thought, wow, that's something. And just that quick, there was an SUV that was following it. Both of them were white. And they were so close to me, I was alarmed that I almost got sideswiped. And they were zooming in and out of the traffic on the expressway. And so, the only thing I think of at that point is, are those stolen vehicles? I mean, that's right where my head goes. I'd like to think there's a reason for them going 100 on the
Yeah.
expressway.
Well, and there are some people who are just, that's just the way that they drive. And,
Gosh.
I don't know, but I do know that, all of this has just got people so, especially people who are not aware of what's happening cognitively, like they're not consciously aware of what's going on. I feel like it's more, I don't even know how to say this. It's people just in their own world. Like they know something is happening. They don't know
Yes.
what, and because they don't know what, they go to fear immediately. And fear being the default mechanism is really, when people are afraid, they get defensive and then they get angry and then and I'm just seeing a lot of that because people don't understand. It's just an energy shift. Relax.
Right. Yeah, the world is not going to tip upside down and we're not all going to fall off of it. But
Well, it would
the
have to be flat for all of us to fall off of it.
by the way,
By the way.
yeah, just reminding you of that. I think you're right. I think there's just a lot of unnecessary fear and people are just not conscious of many. There are some of us. I can't loop everybody
Mhm.
into that group, but there are several that are just not conscious about and aware of anybody around them and inconsiderate. And, they're the only people on the earth, it seems, and
Yeah.
don't care about anything else.
I have seen a lot of that. And the thing is that, right now we are, according to everything I've read, according to what my own spirit guides have told me, according to the channelings I've done, we are right now pretty close to instant manifestation. So the more people focus on anger and fear and worry, the more of that is getting created.
Hmm.
So it's really, I have been super focused on gratitude and
Me too.
love and joy. And, really, when my brain starts slipping or my energy starts feeling lower, I just go right into gratitude and I start in my head listing everything I'm grateful for. And by the way, I would like to show our friends who are watching what we are grateful for.
Oh my gosh, that's right.
Yes, Creations
Gorgeous
by
cups.
Rini, who also happens to be my neighbor.
I'd love to not have to have the glare on the screen, but
Yeah, but
they
it's all
cups.
good. Breakfast with Bobby. And we are thinking about maybe doing some merchandising. So if you like what we have here, let us know, and we'll talk about investing in merchandising if we feel like there's enough of an interest in it. But anyway, so yes, grateful for my friend Irene, Creations by Irene, again in Grafton, Wisconsin. And
Thank
she,
you so much for doing that. That was
yeah,
just what a beautiful gesture.
yeah,
The
thank you,
art.
Irene. This is just lovely.
I agree.
Mm.
And it holds such a nice amount of liquid and your
Yeah.
hand is in it nicely, which is a big thing for me. The shape of the handle is a big deal for me.
Hmm. It is for me as well because it's just the right size.
Right. I don't want to say that I'm a coffee cup snob, but I'm a coffee cup snob, if there is such a thing.
I am too. It's like, well, I'm moving in a couple of weeks, right? So I've
Yeah.
started packing up the things we don't use. I took out of my kitchen cupboard probably 20 coffee mugs, and we use maybe 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have all of these coffee mugs?
It seems like a good idea at the time. That's all I
Is
can
it?
tell you, because I have the
Yeah,
same thing in my cabinet, and wherever I go, I usually bring home a coffee cup, but I have to really be selective wherever I'm going, to find out if it fits correctly and all of that. So
right.
I have a bunch of stuff in my cabinet too.
Yeah. I
Uh,
think we're kind of like stuff collectors, I think secretly we're all dragons. We like to collect little treasures.
oh, I call that a raccoon, but it's, if dragons do that, then apparently I am guilty. What color is your dragon? Mine's blue.
Mine's white.
Is it? Oh,
Hmm. Yep. Yep. A few different people have seen her. She's a big white dragon. Yep.
they
Uh,
just are beautiful. Uh,
Yeah.
he's a protector, and I fly around on him periodically, and I can
Yep.
even sleep on him if I'm going international, because he's so big and fuzzy and warm and
Yep.
protected.
There
Mhm.
you go.
Right.
International or interdimensional?
Oh yeah, sure. I'm
I'm all
going
for inter
somewhere. I don't know where. Until
I
I
am
land.
all for interdimensional.
Right. We just kind of live there a lot, don't we?
We do. We do. I think that we do actually live interdimensionally,
Yeah.
especially as we're going through this shift from 3D to 5D. We're just in that. And I think right now we are in 4D because time is warping like crazy. I don't know if you've noticed it, but like holy cow, how is it June in 2 weeks? It was just New Year's.
Yeah. It was
It-
just February and we were starting our podcast, I think. So
yeah, which was January, right?
I
Yeah.
think the end of January, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Holy
crazy.
cow.
It is crazy how time is just going so fast and so all over the place. Like it's time warping. I mean, and I don't know if I've talked about it on here. I know I've talked about it, but I don't know. I don't remember where because I'm on like a gazillion podcasts at this point. But um, like there are times when I will wake up and I'll pick up my phone and look at it, and just for the time because I don't like to have an alarm clock with a light in my face. It bothers me. So I'll just set my phone down and pick it up and look at it, and it'll say like 8:30, but I'm still tired. So I set the phone back down, I go back to sleep, and then I'll wake up a little bit later and it'll say like 7:15. Um,
I had that happen.
yeah, but how does that happen? Like that's weird, right?
Well, my first impulse is I'm full of shit and I'm sure I confused something and I was looking at it wrong and 50 other things. It just can't be right. That's what I think.
Huh, interesting. Because I've actually talked to several other people who've had similar experiences with
Well,
that.
like I said, I just always defer to myself. Oh,
Right, right.
it's me who misperceived that. I was in my car just yesterday and I was due at a meeting at like it started at 1. And I thought, well, I'm thinking things backward. And I got in the car and all of a sudden I'm driving down the road. I'm halfway there and it said when I would be there. And I looked at the clock and I thought, I'm early. What the heck is up with that? Oh my God, it's only 12:30. It's 20 after 12. It was crazy. I, I,
Yeah.
I don't know what happens.
Time is warping. I'm telling you, it's not just going faster, it's like looping back on itself. It's
Well,
weird.
and speaking of the interdimensional stuff, there's
Hmm.
sometimes I'm waking up not knowing where I am.
Hmm.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because
So,
you've been somewhere else all night.
yeah, you keep telling me that. And sometimes, by the way,
Yeah.
energetically, I just feel so hungover when I wake up. It's like, what is going on? I
Me
have
too.
no recollection of anything other than, wow. The other night, I think I was jogging or running or something. I mean, it was a very unrestful sleep. And I woke up feeling like I had run a marathon.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Wow. That is crazy. I know a lot of us tend to interdimensionally travel in our sleep. You know, I tend to attend classes, I think, in my sleep. Like I go learn something somewhere
Like
off the planet.
Hogwarts or something. You could
Like
say
I don't know. I don't know because all of a sudden, and we've had this conversation where I'll be talking and something will fall out of my mouth and you'll just go, "Where the hell did that come from?" Got no idea, but I'm pretty sure I got it at a class off planet somewhere.
that's right. It was my 9 a.m. class yesterday.
I do think though that we do that because we are more than just these bodies, you know. We are so much more than just these bodies.
Yeah,
We are definitely souls. We don't Our human brain is so limited that we can't really comprehend everything that's out there. And
I
so I have really gotten almost to the point of, you know what, if you say that you rode a purple dragon with green polka dots through the Northern Lights, I am not questioning it because that is your experience. And just because I haven't had that experience doesn't make your experience less valid. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like I
yeah,
have heard so many different things from so many different people, from the cryptids, you know, with the Bigfoot and the um back to my friend Glenn again. He went on a gnome hunt over the weekend.
I saw that. How did it go? I can't help but ask. Did he
um,
find any?
I don't think he did. I don't remember because I asked him. I did ask, and I don't remember his answer.
That's interesting.
I'm
He's
like,
such a
but he,
he's got that such a baby face on him. And of course
no.
he's I think he's part gnome. He was probably looking for his tribe.
Gnome or Fey or something. Yeah, he's definitely got something magical going on.
He sure
Um,
does. Yeah.
yeah,
I think we all have stuff going on. We just mask it quite well and keep ignoring it. But
yeah,
yeah, I think we're all one and we're all half nuts. And if you can keep your wits about you and stay centered, you're in a much better shape
I think so. Yeah,
than the majority.
and some
Yeah,
days it's more than half. It's all good.
right.
And but you know, some of us embrace it. You know, I embrace my crazy. I'm good with it. I'm headed off to Escanaba for 4 days tomorrow, and well, actually to Sacred Waterways Gathering Place. I'm doing a retreat up there, and it's a small retreat. There's only going to be five of us, and
Well, it's fine. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. But you know, we've got the bunkhouse and the teepee and the river and two fire pits and a haunted train and you know, yeah, there are two haunted train cars on the property, full-size train cars from the 1860s.
Mhm.
So, looking forward to getting back there and doing that. And
So where are
basically,
you sleeping? Are you sleeping in the teepee?
no, no,
In the
only
bunk?
because the
Or is
last two people I knew who slept in the teepee, it rained and they woke up soaking wet and ended up sleeping on the couch in the house. So, um, two separate incidences, two separate people at different times. But yeah, so I might go meditate in the teepee.
I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
Nice centering. Yeah. What about the river? The river you said? What river is that?
That would be the Escanaba River, I believe.
Oh,
And where we are going to be is in Cornell, Michigan. And by the time this airs on Monday, I will be coming home from that retreat. So
Mm,
Maybe we'll do a follow-up for the
you'll have all
following
these
week.
stories. That's right.
Yeah. Um, I'm really looking forward to it. And my friend Irene, who made us our beautiful coffee mugs, is actually coming with me.
Oh, wonderful. Would you
Yeah,
please thank her for me? And
I will.
all
I
right.
will. Yeah.
Should,
Uh, she's so excited. She started texting me this morning already. So,
oh, what does she do other than make cups? Why is she going? Is she selling merchandise or?
oh yeah, she goes to shows and sells merchandise and yep,
Okay.
like craft fairs and that sort of thing. And she sells online too, I believe. But I don't have her website information, and I should. But I'll get it for you next week. For next
Okay.
week,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
because she makes all kinds of cool stuff. She gave me that other mug I showed you that says I don't need tarot cards to read your bull crap. She made that one too. So yeah, she makes all kinds of promotional items and that sort of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
pretty
Who
cool.
doesn't want another coffee cup, right?
Right, because I was just complaining about how many I had.
Would you bring me one home from Escanaba?
I will if you want one.
Not really, no. But thank you. Thanks for offering. I
Uh,
don't, when you're inspired at a place, it's just natural, I think, to want to bring that home.
Yeah,
That, the feeling of that cup and the feeling of the ambiance of the area that you were in. I think it's just natural. It's just
yeah.
sometimes I chose things that didn't really fit me well, and then they
Mhm,
sit in the cabinet. And hundreds of dollars on coffee cups eventually.
mhm. A lot of mine have been gifts because, people know I love coffee. So
Oh, yes.
I get
You
a
know,
lot of coffee mugs for gifts. Yeah. I have to say, one of my favorite mugs, I have had it for 38 years.
oh, really?
And yeah, it has the Serenity Prayer on it. And it was a gift on my first anniversary of sobriety.
Very nice.
Yeah. So
I,
coming up in July, I'm coming up on 39 years sober.
oh,
So
congratulations.
thank you. But that particular cup is very important to me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I,
So
I would dig further into that, but I think that's a conversation for another time. Just
yeah, that could take up a few different episodes. Yeah.
it's a
Uh,
serious, wow. And
yep.
kudos to,
So it's one of those things. It's just I don't have a lot of physical possessions that are really that close to my heart, but that is one of them. And that giant crystal behind me, I don't know if you can see that.
yes. Oh, that's lovely. Wow.
Yeah. She is a pink amethyst.
Oh,
And
really?
yeah,
I have a thing about amethyst.
yep, she's a pink amethyst. And she was a gift from um, my fellow show hosts at WLTKDB.
I
Logan
see.
passed away.
Oh,
Yeah,
what a
they all chipped in and got this for me. Yeah.
gratefulness again. Yeah.
Hmm.
A
Yeah.
thoughtful gift. Very nice.
So this is definitely one of my other favorite things. And it's heavy. This thing weighs like 8 pounds. It's like,
Yeah. That's a defense thing.
mhm. Yeah.
My son made me candlesticks, and I think they were out of copper or something
Oh, nice.
when he was in high school. And so those are weapons also. If I,
Yeah.
don't steal the candlesticks, anybody. Won't
Yeah.
get them out of the house, probably.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
so you were talking about uh, planting the garden and stuff, and in the energy, the present energy.
Hmm.
Uh, I don't know. I know that there whether or not that affects plants and stuff. Do you think the plants are half crazy too? You know?
Well, I think energy affects everything because everything is made from energy,
Yes.
right? So if there's higher energy, different vibration, radiation levels, there's different everything. It could be that, all of these gardens just go gangbusters this year.
Well, I will say, this is the first year that my seedlings are bigger than they ever have been.
Yeah, see? And they're
I
not
don't,
even in the ground yet.
yeah, I haven't done anything special, really.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm curious because I feel like with all of the shifting going on, energetically, I feel like the plant kingdom is really going to benefit from it. And I don't have anything to base that on. I just feel it.
Hmm. Well, I planted garlic last year from a couple of the cloves that I had. I purchased some garlic cloves from a woman that was doing a fundraiser for the Ukraine people.
Hmm.
And she said, take the biggest cloves and plant them in fall, cover them up, and by July they should be ready. They're already quite large. So, you know,
Wow. Yeah.
is- yeah, it's kind of, and actually this is the first year that garlic has even turned out for me. The problem is that you buy trees at Steins or whatever, or plants and stuff.
Hmm.
You have no idea if they're even if they're native to here, how to plant them. The trees, they sell a number of trees. And like the garlic, they'll sell garlic. They don't tell you to plant it in fall. They tell you to put it in the ground and tell you how deep to go and how much to water it, but they don't tell you when to plant it, which is the most important thing out of, if you think that you want to get some sort of surplus out of what you plant, that would be a good thing to know, when to plant.
Yeah, I agree. Knowing when to plant it is good.
Yeah, I didn't know it had to overwinter, and thank God for that, but it's turning out just spectacular. It's just great, and it's wonderful garlic. Oh my gosh. Definitely.
That's awesome. I have a feeling you're going to end up with a very prosperous garden this year.
Oh, I hope so. You know what else? Uh, when COVID hit and we were um, having to stay home and stuff, I grabbed a bunch of seeds out of my old seedling box, and I was planting seeds that were old, and I really didn't think that they'd come up. And so I planted a whole bunch of, they're called mammoth sunflowers. And those are
Hmm.
the giant ones that get about 15 feet tall, and the head is about,
Yeah.
12 inches wide. They all came up, and I was really shocked about that. And it was beautiful. And ever since then, I plant sunflowers in the garden. It's just a fun thing to do.
I love that.
The other thing I learned is that there is some sort of contest, and I want to say it's West Bend. In the West Bend newspaper, there is a little blurb in there that they do a contest every year with the best sunflowers from your garden. I had no idea. You have to send in pictures and stuff. It's a cool thing.
Yeah. I would have no idea because I don't have land. So I've no,
Well, quite honestly, I don't want to monopolize the conversation about seeds and stuff like that. But the disappointment about this is that if you plant them outside of a protected area, the little rodents, the chipmunks and rabbits and squirrels and stuff, they can smell that. And 90% of the time, it looks like they don't come up. But what happens is they dig around in there and eat the seeds, and then you don't have any sunflowers. So that's why if you're growing sunflowers and the seeds don't come up, it's probably because something ate it, not
yeah,
necessarily rotten.
yeah. We were
So,
just noticing yesterday baby bunnies chasing each other around on our patio, our back patio. They're
I
so
used to,
cute.
they're just adorable. And,
Yeah.
the pattern that they run into, they kind of tend to run in circles. And so
Hmm.
they'll go around and then come back to where they were. Uh, we have a number of things here. Coyotes come through and whatnot, and fox and all of that. And my supply of bunnies has gone down. I'm just gonna
Oh,
say, yeah,
yeah. Let's just leave it at that. Um,
yeah.
yeah, it's we have the chipmunks and the bunnies because we're right in the city. So, you
Well,
know,
you're at their house, by the way. You moved into their house.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
And but my point is we don't generally have fox and coyotes and bigger wild
Bigger.
animals, right? So,
Oh,
yeah. I have seen deer walking through Grafton, but not this part of Grafton, like more on the outskirts.
mhm.
So,
Yeah. Again, they're looking for food and
mhm.
housing, and
And
You're
we
in
moved into their neighborhood.
that's right. There goes the neighborhood.
Darn humans.
Right.
Always messing up our neighborhoods.
Right. Right. So what else is, you said you were going to Escanaba.
I
What do you,
am. I'm doing an intuitive you retreat, second level. So, yeah. So these are people who have all taken the first level, the beginning level, and this is the intermediate level. So, yeah, we'll be talking about spirit guides and more about energy, and we'll be doing a paranormal investigation. And yeah,
so do you teach them how to be in touch with their guides? Is that
yes.
an exercise that you do?
Hmm. Yeah, how to be in touch with your spirit guides, how to develop a relationship, a conscious relationship with your spirit guides, because we all have them. You know, we aren't sent to this world without resources, and so we do have those resources. But if you don't know how to communicate with them, most people will just kind of take the guidance and go with it, just gut feelings or whatever, however that works for them.
Yeah.
But I teach people how to have conscious conversations through meditation and such with your spirit guides, including your animal guides. So, yeah.
I remember you and I did that animal guide thing. Mine came out to be a sloth of all things.
Which is weird because you don't sit still very well.
I think that was the point. It
Yeah.
was telling me to slow down.
Yeah, that very well could be the point.
Shut up and sit down now. You're everywhere. Just sit down.
Oh, mine's a skunk, so, you know, there we go.
What's the meaning of a skunk? Do you know?
Yeah, I do. Skunks are all about energy. Skunks don't have natural enemies except one.
Us. Us?
No. Are
Oh.
you kidding? How many people go out and shoot skunks? Nobody wants that.
Right. We've had a
No,
couple of
it's
dogs that got sprayed really close, like right on their head. And boy,
Mhm.
a whole year it took for that smell to get out of there.
Yep, exactly. And the thing is, okay, so here's the things about skunks that I have learned about the nature of skunks and skunk totems. Okay. First of all, the only natural enemy of a skunk is a great horned owl. It's the
Oh.
only thing on the planet that will kill and eat a skunk. And I thought I had read somewhere years ago that it's because they don't have a sense of smell,
Okay.
which would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So skunks also do skunks do things nobody else wants to, right? So they'll eat grubs and bugs and you know, they're kind of the vacuum cleaners of nature, you know. They'll go through and get rid of the pests that we don't want and they'll eat like mosquito larvae and all that kind of stuff. So I know they get rid of this stuff, but they do jobs other people don't want to do. And if you think about some of the stuff I do, even other psychics don't want to do the stuff I do.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah.
And also, skunks only spray if they absolutely have to, because it depletes them. They can go another, I think, was it like 15 hours or something it takes to replenish themselves because it exhausts them when they spray. And then they have to go hide because they have no defense
Wow.
for the rest of the day, you know? So, and I get that energetically when I really overdo energetically. Like I have to go hide somewhere, turn off the phones, turn off the computers, don't give people a way to contact me because I need to replenish. I need to get in there and replenish. But somebody needs to be sprayed. They're going to get sprayed. I just don't like doing it. It's exhausting. And skunks give warnings. They'll give 3 warnings before they
Oh,
spray.
really? What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I ever told you the story of the skunks here when we first moved here. Oh my God. So I had horses and there was a bridge going across the creek so I could get over to the horses. And there were people that lived up there. And I heard some rustling in the bushes, you know, alongside the bridge. And I stopped and out comes a little one and right in front of me. And it was so cute. And, you know,
They
I like to touch things. And I watched it. I was smart enough not to do that. And it went past. And then I heard some more. And I thought, don't walk because there's more in there. Another one came out, a little one, and it looked up at me and I like, oh my God, it's so cute, almost reaching down to touch it.
Hmm.
So that one went. And so then I go up to the barn and they go into the barn. She had chickens and they go into the barn and then steal the eggs.
Yeah, they
So
do.
that's a little alarming. You certainly don't want to walk in on a skunk when they're eating the eggs. Just eat the eggs. Take whatever you like. Just
Just,
take it
I'm gonna,
all.
I'll be back later. Thanks.
Right. So I get home and I'm telling Ricky about how cute they are, and he said,
Mm.
Bobby, so help me God. I know you love to touch things. If you come in smelling like a skunk, you're sleeping in the garage.
He's not wrong, right?
So they're so cute.
But babies can't spray. Babies
Oh,
don't have a defense. What they
how
have is mom.
oh well, never mind. Oh, they were just so cute. So to further the story now, the skunk
Mhm.
thing was a big deal. It was always stealing eggs out of the barn and chasing around the chickens and whatnot. And so the woman that owned the place thought it would be a good idea to get them out of there. And so here they bring a gun up and watching for the skunks. So I came out of the barn telling them that there was a skunk in the barn. And so we're waiting for it to come out kind of thing. And so eventually they're standing there and standing there and standing there and standing there, no skunk to be found. And all of a sudden they turn around, set the gun down. They set the rifle down or whatever, shotgun, right? And they're just milling around, looking around, blah, blah, blah. They turn around and there's the skunk standing right in front of them. And the gun is Elmer Fudd. There you go.
Hmm.
Hunting rabbits.
Well,
And so
skunks are not stupid critters.
it was the funniest thing. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what
Yeah.
happens when you set that down.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah. With all of the shifting energy, I have been seeing so many videos of people who have been getting messages like by the end of May, it's going to be a different world. And nobody really knows what that means. So I mean, we are like 2 weeks from a different world, apparently. So I guess we'll check back in 2 weeks and see what shifted.
the energy is just so strong.
It is. It is very strong. This is the energy that creates worlds. It is that strong. So, yeah.
What about war? Does it, where's all that going? Has to get rid of the old and bring in the new kind of thing? So are we in the point of
I keep hoping that
Russian?
we get past the point of, the need to kill each other over land, you know,
Can't we just all get along?
right?
Understand why we can't get along.
Because we can't communicate. We don't know how to communicate. That's really what it boils down to. I mean, there are so many people who are not taught how to communicate properly. It's hard to have a conversation with somebody who doesn't see things the way you do necessarily, because not everyone can communicate effectively and not get angry about it, you know?
Well, the surprising part about all of that, it's kind of the Hatfields and McCoys where it's been going on for so many thousands of years.
Mhm.
I just don't understand how can they carry that around, that same wound that,
Right.
well, I can't really say that because now we can go right into the Native Americans where that was such a nasty thing. And I I don't understand it, Christina. I don't know. It's just a shame that
Well, slavery, people are still enslaving people, and I don't understand that either. Like, I don't understand what would give somebody the right to do that, or why they would think that they have the right to
yeah.
do that.
Well, it seems too like the more things change, the more things stay the same. We still have the same problems. There's still slavery. There's still all
Yeah.
kinds of bootlegging and all the things that we had 100 or 200 years ago are still here somewhere.
Right. And more light is being shown on stuff that's been hidden too. So it looks like there's more dark. I don't believe there's more dark. I believe we can just see more of it.
Yeah, it's always been there. It's just
Hmm.
exposed.
It's
Right.
just exposed. And the thing though is like I have been doing psychic and wellness fairs every weekend for months, right? So more and more, every single fair, doesn't matter where I am, doesn't matter what state I'm in, we are still getting a lot of people walking through the door who have never talked to anyone in that arena. I talked to probably 5 or 6 different people over last weekend who kind of just wandered in, and they're like, I don't know why. I was just drawn to come here. I've never been to anything like this. I don't understand any of it, but let me tell you what's been going on, and what's been going on is that they have been seeing shadows. They have been hearing things they hadn't heard before. They have been feeling like there's just more, but they don't know what that means. And
Mhm.
so people are waking up in mass numbers. I mean, people are really starting to open up, and people who even 2 weeks ago would have said, I don't know what's wrong with you people, you're just all nuts. And now they're coming in dazed and confused and going, please explain to me what's happening.
Oh, that's very interesting. I,
Yeah.
I
And it's a
s-
lot of people. I mean, it's a lot more than it has been. And I've been doing this for 23 years.
Mhm.
So
Well, that's a
it's
good,
yeah. So
okay.
there is that shift is actually affecting people in a positive way.
Mhm. I remember a few times that, when people die,
Hmm.
that they always have someone come and get them.
Right.
It usually happens that it's about 3 days before they die that that kind of frequency happens. But it's kind of in response to your people are waking up kind of thing.
Hmm.
Until that message is passed on,
Yeah.
and that person says, "Oh, Aunt so and so was here today." Um, and the people that are in the room, it seems to be very impactful for them, where they didn't really think that any of that was real. And
Right.
now because their dad said it or their mom said it, there must be something to that. And I actually have 3 nieces that very same thing happened. And
Yeah.
so they start to wake up about that. But I think it's interesting that the veil is becoming so thin that people are hearing and seeing things that they've never heard and seen when they aren't in that space. You and I can focus on it and see it or feel it. But for people that don't and thought it was just a bunch of hogwash and now are waking up a little bit. So it's very comforting to see that.
More
There's
awareness. Yeah.
yeah.
The thing is, though, I mean, if you're 50, 60 years old and you've never had an experience like that, and all of a sudden, like all these things are happening around you, it's alarming because you don't understand what's happening,
Right.
you know? And I think it's the people who are not getting visitations from loved ones, who are just seeing and, like hearing like a TV on in the other room and there's no TV on in the other room, that kind of stuff. And they hadn't before. It's just confusing, I think. And
Well,
that's why they come to places like psychic fairs and go, someone please explain to me who's watching TV in my house. you know, like, that kind of
the
stuff.
noise down for God's sakes. It's a
Oh,
little
for
loud.
crying out loud.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, it is the energy is definitely shifting perspectives. There's no doubt about that. It's definitely shifting perspectives.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, that the people who are not wanting to shift perspectives, the people who are not, they want things to stay the way that they were, whether it's because they're benefiting from it or because they're afraid of change, or this is the way it's always been, I can't imagine it being any other way. They are holding on tight to
So
the
what do you
old
think
energy.
what do you think that is going to happen? Are those the people that may or may not, move off the earth in some fashion or
I have just been getting, um, it's almost like we're going to have two sets of humans living on the same planet but not really noticing each other
Hmm.
because the vibration, the frequency will be so different that we they won't the people in 3D won't be able to see the 5D people, and the people in 5D will really not notice the 3D people as much.
Hmm.
It's really just, I don't know.
Speaking of that, this is a little bit of a different subject, but I was at the Dare to Be Aware fair over the weekend.
Okay.
And I ran into so many people that I knew and so many people that I used to hang around with and stuff. Uh, and I ran into, do you know Eric Swenson?
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric Swenson was doing a talk, uh, meeting the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
And uh, it was scientifically based. And he brought the scientifically based explanation of energy, how it moves, the Tesla stuff,
Mm.
all of the scientists and who invented light and whatnot, talking about that. And then how we are energy. And, God talked about everything is energy and stuff. And he brought the whole thing together in a really fine talk. And by the time and of course he made it funny, it was
Mhm.
just interesting. So it was so good to see him. I don't think I've seen him in like 15 years. Uh, what a kind soul he is, and what a great perspective he has on life. And his father was a pastor, and so he grew up in the church,
Mhm.
um, went to Sunday school and whatnot. So that was his fun. But he's just such a kind guy, and it was so cool to see him and his great scientific, energetic talk. That, by the way, the end result, we're all energy. We are the Holy Spirit. It's us. We house that. So
Yes.
God is within
We
us.
are all literally made of energetic components. Like
That's correct.
it's just the way it
Yeah.
is. We're all protons and neutrons and whatever. So
Hmm.
electrons and yeah, I love that. I love how spirituality and science are people are starting to see the connections.
There's a lot more of that these
Hmm.
days. There,
Yeah.
I remember many, many years ago uh, working at medical college, and my boss, who was the chief of the division that I worked in, we had a visit from a Native American, and she was talking about energy and spiritual stuff.
Hmm.
And of course, at the school, everything is science. And at that point in time, she wanted him to support her in doing, maybe even publishing a book or whatever it was. But it was right on that line, crossing that line for him. And she left there, and he did say to her, "I can't support that. That's not what we do here." And so after they were done, I said to him, "Off the record, do you believe in that?" And he goes, "Off the record? Yes." I thought, yeah, see, I knew it. Good for you.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Mhm.
Well, this has been an interesting discussion.
Well, and even more than that, now my physician now, who I used to work for,
Hmm.
there was a talk at Illuminate over the weekend, actually last Friday, I think it was, and Marcus was talking about plant medicine and all of the uses of that. And it was very science based and whatnot, and what each thing does and how you use it. Um, and who do you suppose is sitting in the front row?
Your doctor. Hmm.
A trauma therapist and another trauma therapist,
Yeah.
because they do ketamine therapy there.
Yeah.
And she thought the talk was great. And it's just nice. Again, he's a shaman, he's in psychology and all of that kind of stuff. Uh, it- and just as an aside, he did ask to come back to our show, so we will have
Yeah.
him on sometime in the next few months.
Yeah.
So we're all in this together, and we are all light workers, just trying to support each other and love each other through this.
Exactly. Exactly. There's the way that the world, none of us remember ever going through this before. Like there hasn't been a shift like this since the Renaissance.
Mm.
you know. So, it's all brand new stuff to a lot of us unless we remember past lives at that time or even before that at different times where there's been big shifts forward. But yeah, this is an interesting time to be alive. It is a time that I am grateful to be here because I wanted to see it.
Apparently, I did too.
Yeah. And if we can all just keep ourselves from going into fear about the difference, about how it's going to be different, I think that we can make this just an amazing shift for humanity, but we all have to stop going into fear.
Right.
Yeah.
Being a light worker is a calling,
Hmm.
and it is certainly not to be taken lightly. But there are a lot of symptoms about being, having light worker syndrome,
Hmm.
and many of us have that, which I'm learning a whole lot more about that these days too. But yeah, we need to support each other, and uh, confidence comes from consciousness. So the
Yeah.
more you are, the more confident you are.
Right.
And you're 90% of the time, you're not making shit up. It's real. And
Yeah.
so uh, we tend to think that we're crazy because we see something that we've never seen before. And that provokes a lot of fear, right, in and of itself.
Yeah.
But to know that you're not in this boat alone, that we're all with you to support you is, we just got to keep
And
reminding.
maybe we just stop having to, maybe we just need to stop thinking crazy is a bad thing.
Well, I agree.
Maybe we just all kind of like we're all on a spectrum here. So,
All nuts.
we're
Come
well,
on. And that's not a bad thing. I mean, if you
no,
don't
I think yeah, I think that,
remember,
imagination comes from
yeah,
being different.
right.
There's nothing wrong with imagination.
Back in the day when the cartoons were on, the Jetsons, remember
Yeah.
that flip phone they had?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Well,
we've all
we
got one now.
we have flip phones now, and
You know,
they all
We,
thought they were nuts. That's never going to happen.
we have telehealth now.
Right.
We- you know,
We have a number of things, but
yeah.
if you can imagine it, it can happen. There's
Mhm.
nothing impossible. The only thing that's impossible is your thoughts making it that way.
And actually that is exactly where it starts is in our thoughts.
Yeah, it's all in your head, whether you like it or not.
Yep. So you might as well if the change is here. It's already happening. So every single person on the planet gets to decide, is this going to be a positive change or a negative change? And it is global and it is individual and it feels very personal to everybody.
Well, I agree. I think
Yeah,
it's touching each one of us, and
right.
depends on how personal you make it for yourself. But keep your head down, do the best you can.
Or
And
up and pay attention.
well, or depending on which road you're on, you've got to keep your head
Yeah.
up above the ground there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just feel like if every single person chose that this shift is going to be a good thing for me, this shift is a good thing for me, we would move it through it with ease and grace.
yeah,
No
stay
problem.
positive, right?
Yeah,
I
this is a
agree.
good thing for me. This is a good thing for me. And that doesn't mean that the lessons are going to stop. I don't like lessons. Let's go with experiences. That doesn't mean that our experiences are going to stop. It doesn't mean that we're not going to be noticing things and improving things and, doing all of that. But it really does depend on, if I feel like if I decided today that my life was falling apart, my life would be falling apart tomorrow. It's that quick now. Stop it.
Well,
you know,
speaking of that, I got to tell you, there's been a few things, and I'm glad that you reminded us about how quickly we manifest things.
hmm
I was just thinking about an issue that I had that I think could use some additional help.
Okay.
And lo and behold, I met someone today that stepped up and gave me more information about the issue than I ever thought was possible, and
Yeah.
things I've been wondering about. So again, uh, mind your thoughts
hmm
and project what it is that you want and be
Yes.
clear about it.
Yeah. The way the law of attraction works is you don't get what you want, you get what you focus on.
Yes, right.
So, focus on what you want, then you get what you want. But, if you're focusing on this is so hard, I'm never going to be able to do this, or I've never had any money, I'm never going to have any money. Well, guess what? You're going to spend the rest of your life flat ass broke. So, you really have to focus on what you want and really put your energy into believing that it's possible because we are in instant manifestation.
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
And
it
so
really is.
that being said, I think we've had a fabulous discussion today.
I think we have too. So, you know what? Hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell, share with your friends. And you can also join our Facebook page. We have a Breakfast with Bobby podcast Facebook group. And so lots of fun stuff going on there. We post the episodes that we do as events through that Facebook page, so people have more access to it. But we would really, 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 really love it if you also followed through and went to YouTube and liked us here too. Started
Yes.
following us here too. That would be really awesome.
And
And lots of shifting. So
yeah, if you have any questions, shoot them out there.
yep,
If
hit
you
us
want a
up.
cup, let us know that too.
Yeah, if you want a cup. Aren't these cool? This is so good. I just love it.
It's beautiful.
Yes, she did a beautiful job. And if you are really feeling lost and you need some guidance, I'm going to put in a plug for myself. ChristinaBloom.com. I have a form on my website where you can contact me to make an appointment. So if you need some spiritual guidance, psychic reading, mediumship, you want to talk to someone on the other side, I'm available for that. So hit me up, make an appointment.
Very good.
Yeah. And have a great week, everybody.
Do
Bye.
something nice for yourself. Take care.
Yes,
Bye.
someone else.